Yeah, so for today's class, this is our topology, and here we are going to do IPsec lab. IPsec మనం లాస్ట్ క్లాస్లో IPsec గురించి మాట్లాడాం కదా. సో ఈరోజు మనం IPsec ల్యాబ్ చూసుకోబోతున్నాం. అండ్ మన టోపాలజీ వచ్చేసి ఇలా ఉంటుంది అనమాట. ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు కాన్ఫిగర్ IPsec, we need two firewalls connected to each other. In this topology, I directly connected one firewall with another one on the internet, 1/3, which is going to use for our IPsec traffic. Okay? And these two Windows machines to check the reachability between one side to other side through the IPsec, we need two Windows machines. Okay. So this is a new firewall that I have deployed, and we need to go from the scratch. Okay, scratch in the sense we need to configure zones. We need to enable interfaces, Ethernet 1/1, Ethernet 1/3, and we need to configure IP address on both, and we need to create policies. So this is one type of reason for you guys, and that will be much helpful. Okay. So first thing what we need to do, we need to create zones. So I'm creating trust zones for Ethernet 1/1. If you want to include, you can include Ethernet here. Otherwise, while we are configuring Ethernet also, we can add the zone. And untrust zone. Untrust zone for Ethernet 1/. Okay. And one more zone we need to create is VPN zone. Okay. For this IPsec tunnel, we are creating an tunnel interface as well. So these zones are completed, right? So now we are going to add or enabling interfaces. What are the interfaces that we have connected? Ethernet 1/1. So Ethernet 1/1 should be enabled first. Before that also, we need to create an interface management profile. I think I have already created. Yeah, I have created an OP. And the interfaces, Ethernet 1/1. Select the interface type as an L3. Virtual router. I'm going with an default virtual router. Security zone. Ethernet 1/3 for trust. Okay. And I'm creating this for IP address 20.20.20.10/24. IPsec now. Advanced. In the advanced, add the management profile here. And open it. That's it. And I already configured Ethernet 1/3 same way. So Ethernet 1/3 layer 3, and we need to include a virtual router as default. Security zone, it is for untrust. Okay. And IP address, we have 192.168.10.100 and advanced it is allowed. Yeah. And next thing what we need to do is we need to create a tunnel interface also. This is for using our IPsec tunnel. Okay? We can create tunnels from 1 to 9,999. Okay, for now I'm creating one, and virtual router is default. I'm using default one, and for this tunnel interface, I'm creating VPN. I already created VPN zone, and I'm adding this tunnel interface. For tunnel interface, if I want to configure IP address, we can configure, but I'm not configuring any IP address here. And also management profile also, if you want, we can add. Otherwise, it is not an option. It is not needed, but it's our option. Okay. Zones are created. and this what we call tunnel interfaces and normal interfaces are created. And go ahead, create a policy. Here in the IPsec, we need to create two policies. Okay, what is for means we need to allow the trust zone traffic to the VPN zone and VPN zone to the trust in both the firewalls. Okay, ఇక్కడ నుంచి మనం ట్రస్ట్ నుంచి VPN లో కలెక్ట్ చేయడానికి ఒక రూల్, మళ్ళీ VPN వచ్చిన ట్రాఫిక్ ట్రస్ట్ లోకి వెళ్ళడానికి ఒక రూల్. సో ఈచ్ ఫైర్ వాల్ లో ఏం చేయాలంటే మనం రెండు రూల్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఇన్ దిస్ ఫైర్ వాల్ యూ కెన్ క్రియేట్ వన్ రూల్, ట్రస్ట్ టు VPN, అండ్ సోర్స్ ఆఫ్ ట్రస్ట్ టు VPN అన్నా కాబట్టి సోర్స్ వచ్చేసి ట్రస్ట్, డెస్టినేషన్ వచ్చేసి VPN. ఓకే, and application any, service URL any, and action should be allowed. Click OK. And also the same thing, you need to VPN to trust. And this source is VPN, destination is trust. And application any, service URL category any, action should be allowed. Click on OK. We have created an policy concept. So now the main step. సో ద మెయిన్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ కమ్స్ హియర్. మనం మెయిన్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ చేయాల్సింది ఇక్కడ నుంచి. ఏమేమి కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాలంటే మనం ఏమేమి చెప్పుకున్నాం, phase 1 పారామీటర్స్, phase 2 పారామీటర్స్ చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా. సో ఫర్ phase 1 వి నీడ్ టు ఇన్ ద ప్యారలల్ మనకి ఏమున్నాయంటే ఇక్కడ ఐకి క్రిప్టో అని ఉంది. ఐకి క్రిప్టో అంటే మనకి phase 1 పారామీటర్స్. వి నీడ్ టు కాన్ఫిగర్ ఆర్ వి నీడ్ టు కాన్ఫిగర్ phase 1 పారామీటర్స్ హియర్. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ మనం see here in the network tab, in network profiles. In the network profile, we have IKE crypto. This IKE crypto is for mainly for the phase 1 parameters. మనం phase 1 parameters లో ఫస్ట్ 2 మెసేజెస్ లో హ్యాగల్ పారామీటర్స్ ఎక్స్చేంజ్ చేసుకుంటాను కదా. సో సేమ్ పారామీటర్స్ ఇక్కడ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసినాం అనమాట. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ యూ క్లిక్ ఆన్ యాడ్, ఇట్ విల్ షో లైక్ దిస్ crypto profile. You can give the name. Okay, I am giving TBN IKE crypto. Okay, DH group, మనం DH group మనం మాట్లాడుకున్నాం కదా. If you click on add, you will see multiple DH group. We have 1, 2, 5, 14, 19, 20. I told you the DH group number, if the DH group number is high, the security is more. Okay, so I am taking the higher number here, group 9, group 20. And this is an authentication. Authentication is not an actual authentication. We will call it as an hashing. Okay, so I am taking MD5 here and encryption. We have DS, 3DS, AES. Okay, I'm going with AES 256. If you want, we can take any one. Okay, but I'm going with AES 256, and this is the lifetime. Okay, by default it is selecting 8 hours. Okay, this phase 1 lifetime is 8 hours. Click on OK. This is the phase 1 parameter. We have configured phase 1 parameters. Now going with the phase 2. మనకి phase 2 ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయంటే ఇక్కడ IPsec crypto ఉంది కదా, అక్కడ దాన్ని క్లిక్ చేసి IPsec crypto. If you click on IPsec crypto, you can get this page like this, and go with the add. Click on add. You'll get an IPsec crypto profile page, and give the name. I'm going with the TBN IPsec crypto. Okay, see here, by default it is using an IPsec protocol ESP. మనం ఇక్కడ ESP ఎందుకు సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటుంది? Why it is by default it is selecting ESP? If you want, you can change ESP or AS, but if you open this by directly, okay, see here, if you click on add, it is selected as IPsec protocol ESP. Why it is selecting ESP? Why this IPsec protocol by default selected ESP? What it provides? Hello. Okay. We told right the IPsec protocol CSP and AH. CSP means encapsulated security payload, and AH means authentication header. What is the main difference between ESP and AH? What authentication header provides? Authentication header provides only authentication and integrity. Okay, but ESP will provide along with an authentication and integrity. It will also provide encryption. So that is the main reason it is by default selecting ESP because it is providing an encryption as well, IPsec protocol. Okay, and the same way we need to create an phase two parameters as well. Okay, in the encryption, I'm selecting AES 256 go with CC, and this is authentication. I'm going with MD5, and AES group is group 20. And if you see here, the lifetime of phase two, we get called as an phase two EBC. The lifetime is by default it is at 1 hour. And phase one by default it is showing a 8 hours, right? We can be these are the configurable, okay? And this is the life size. Maybe life size means recommended life size is 100 MB or greater, and we can also configure this life size as well. For now, we are not configuring, but మనం lifetime యూస్ చేసుకుంటాం ఇక్కడ ఓకే ఫర్ 1 hour. So these are the phase one and phase two parameters. Now we are going with creating a phase one tunnel. మనం ఇంతవరకు పారామీటర్స్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసాం. ఇప్పుడు మనం టన్నల్స్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసాం. ఫేజ్ వన్ టన్నల్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాలంటే ఇక్కడ మనకి ఐటీ గేట్వేస్ అనేది కదా. ఐటీ గేట్వేస్ అనేది ఫేజ్ వన్ టన్నల్. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎనేబుల్ ఆర్ కాన్ఫిగర్ phase one tunnel now. So whatever the parameters in the IP crypto is used, we are calling this in the IP gateway while configuring the phase one tunnel. Okay? Same way, you have to add. Okay, click on add. You will get a gateway configuration. So you can give here TBN IPE phase one. Okay, whatever. Network IP gateway. We have already phase one phase two. Go with IP gateway. Name TBN IPE phase one. Okay. In this IPE phase one, we will be having the two modes, IPv1 and IPv2. IPv1 and IPv2, there will be having some differences as well. I haven't gone through with that IPv1 and IPv2 modes. Okay. But there are some differences. If we are using IPv1, there will be having it will be utilizing the less more bandwidth, and it will be more less secure like that. But we don't need that differences between IPv1 and IPv2. So I'm going with an IPv1 only mode, and address type is IPv4. I'm going with that. And this is the actual what is the interface that we are using here in the IPsec. Okay. For now, for phase one, I'm using this Ethernet 1/0. The Ethernet 1/ is connected between two firewalls, right? Between two sites. So that is the interface that we need to select. What is the interface here? Ethernet 1/3. So take this Ethernet 1/3. Local IP address. Local IP address is this Ethernet 1/3 IP address. If you are already configured, it will be reflecting here. Okay. And peer IP address. Peer IP address should be IP or FQDN or dynamic. Okay. Here I am manually configured. We need, if your other side is dynamic, you can select the dynamic. Other side dynamic means if the IP address on Ethernet 1/3 is getting from the DHCP or any other servers, okay. For now, we are directly connected and we are configuring manually. If you are configuring manually, select the IP and mention the IP address here. I am taking 192.168.10.200 because these are directly connected and they should be in the same subnet, right? So that's why I'm taking this 10.100 and local is 10.100 and field side is 10.200. Okay. So, and next thing we need to configure is an authentication. Actual authentication is this. I mentioned, right? Authentication, we can authenticate the both the firewalls into a pre-shared key or certificate. So, pre-shared key is an easy way to configure, okay? Because మనమే మాన్యువల్గా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసుకో మనకి ఇష్టం వచ్చేది కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసేది సర్టిఫికేట్ అంటే యూ నీడ్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఎనీ అదర్ థర్డ్ పార్టీ and we need to import here and we need to select the certificate or generate a certificate here. So if we go with the pre-shade key, it will be easy one. We can manually configure. మనమే manually configure pre-shade key. నేనేం కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తున్నట్టే 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I'm configuring the numbers 1 to 8. Okay, the same confirm one, confirm pre-shade 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's it. And this local identification and peer identification, if you want, you can mention or otherwise no need. Local identification is the same one, local IP and peer IP. Okay. And go on the advanced settings. In the advanced settings, we have common options. And the first option is enable passive mode and enable NAT transfer. When we use enable passive mode, మనం ఈ ఆప్షన్ ఎప్పుడు యూస్ చేస్తామంటే see here ఇందాక డైనమిక్ స్టాటిక్ అని మాట్లాడుకున్నాం కదా ఇప్పుడు వన్ సైడ్ స్టాటిక్ వన్ సైడ్ డైనమిక్ అన్నాం అనుకో ఓకే మనకి ఇక్కడ ఈ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ మీద మాన్యువల్ గా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం ఐపీ అడ్రస్ బట్ ఈ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ అదర్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫైర్ వాల్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ మీద డైనమిక్ గా వస్తుంది సో ఇన్ దట్ కేస్ we need to enable the passive mode where you have a static IP address. Okay, మనకి ఫర్ సపోజ్ ఈ ఐపీ ఈ ఫైర్ వాల్ ఉంది కదా ఈ ఫైర్ వాల్ లో నువ్వు ఐపీ అడ్రస్ మాన్యువల్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తావు బట్ ఈ ఫైర్ వాల్ లో డైనమిక్ గా వస్తుంది డైనమిక్ మీన్స్ వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కమింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డిఎస్సిపి సర్వర్ ఓకే అండ్ వీ డోంట్ నో వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఐపీ అడ్రస్ హియర్ ఓకే but on this firewall interface we have manually configured and we know the IP address of this firewall, so we need to enable the passive mode here because if you enable the passive mode this firewall should be always acting as a responder means this will be acting as a sender, this will be acting as a responder, always responder. If you enable passive mode the firewall will be always acting as a responder. Okay. In the IPsec, we have two things: sender and responder. Sender means who will initiate the traffic, and responder means who will receive the traffic. So, in this case, if you using static and dynamic, we can use static and dynamic or static, but we can't use dynamic on both sides. Okay, we can't use dynamic on both sides. That is one thumb rule in this Palo Alto. If you want to use, you can configure both static IP addresses on both the interfaces, or one side static or one side dynamic. We can't use dynamic on both sides. Okay, and if you are using static and dynamic on one side, you have to enable passive mode on the firewall where you are using static IP. Okay. For now, both are static only, so we are not enabling passive mode. And the NAT transfer, when we are NAT transfer, when we want to enable NAT transfer means in this device or in this between these firewalls, if there is any NAT device in between, okay. మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఫైర్ వాల్ రెండింటి మధ్యన ఏం డివైస్ లేవు డైరెక్ట్లీ కనెక్ట్ చేసాం బట్ సపోజ్ ఇన్ ద రియల్ టైమ్ సినారియో if there is any device between NAT device means the device which is using for NAT translation. if there is any NAT device in between these two sites, these two firewalls, we need to enable NAT transversal on both sides because this IPsec, what we do is IPsec using the protocol ESP, right? If you are using IPsec protocols, IPsec protocols don't have a port numbers, but NAT will be working on transport. If the NAT is configured as an PAT port address translation, so in that case, they need an ports, right? So if you are enabling NAT transversal, this firewall also will be able to negotiate for this and discover a NAT device in between. And what it will do is it will be converting they have port 500, right? So that will be converting to the port 500 and will be able to communicate each other. Actually, this is one conflict between IPsec and NAT. If there is any NAT device in between IPsec feeds, the communication won't happen. To to get in traffic or to be communicated between IPsec feeds, if there is a NAT device, we need to enable the NAT transversal. Okay, అర్థమైందా మనం ప్యాసివ్ మోడ్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేయాలా నాట్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేయాలని అండర్స్టూడ్ ఎస్ ఆర్ నో ఓకే ఓకే యా see here and next part is exchange mode ఎక్స్చేంజ్ మోడ్ అంటే మనకి మోడ్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఫేజ్ వన్ లో మెయిన్ మోడ్ అగ్రెసివ్ మోడ్ మనకు కావాలనుకుంటే మెయిన్ మోడ్ యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కావాలనుకుంటే అగ్రెసివ్ మోడ్ యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు బట్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ విత్ అన్ ఆటో బికాస్ ఇట్ విల్ బి సెలెక్టింగ్ బేస్డ్ అపాన్ ద ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే ఆటో సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తాం అంటే అది మెయిన్ మోడ్ అయినా కావచ్చు అగ్రెసివ్ మోడ్ అయినా కావచ్చు ఇక్కడ మనం మెయిన్ మోడ్ ఆటో యూజ్ చేసి అవతల సైడ్ ఒకవేళ ఫర్ సపోజ్ అగ్రెసివ్ మోడ్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసాం అనుకో ఇట్ విల్ బి నెగోషియేటింగ్ okay but we have an option we can select main mode or aggressive mode but I'm going with an auto and this is an IK crypto profile and we are already created IK crypto here the page one parameter we can call it now yeah. Call it as what you called TBN IK crypto call it here this dead field detection means we have an interval 5 times and retry 5 times right ఈ డెడ్ ఫీల్డ్ డిటెక్షన్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే ఫర్ సపోజ్ దీస్ IPsec ఫీల్డ్స్ ఓకే దీస్ firewall 1 and firewall 2 is working fine and they are exchanging the IPsec parameters and messages fine in some in certain time or at particular time this firewall 1 went down and this won't get any messages right so what dead field detection will do is this interval what is the interval they have configured we have configured interval 5 times means it will wait for 5 seconds these are all the seconds interval and retry means 5 times and interval means time 5 seconds it will wait for 5 seconds and it will retry means it will again waiting for another time okay same like it will wait for 5 retries and it will for every retry it will wait for 5 seconds means 5 into 5 25 25 means the peer will be waiting 25 seconds to get if the firewall to get any message from the IPsec peer if within that 25 if firewall is not getting any messages from the other peer it will be as considered as a dead and IPsec connection and tunnels will go down. Okay. In that case, this dead field detection that is the usage of this dead field detection here. We'll call it as a DPD. DPD means dead field detection. And we have an interval 5 seconds and retry is 5. For first 5 seconds, it will wait and again it will again retry and it will retry for 5 seconds 5 times for every retry it will wait for 5 seconds okay so total is 5 into 5 25 seconds so the firewall 2 will wait for 25 seconds if it receives any messages from the firewall one. Within that 25 seconds, if it's not reaching, the firewall to considering the firewall one as in dead, and the IPsec tunnels, the phase one, phase two will go down in that case. These are the things that you need to know about this. The phase one. Yeah, phase one is completed. Here it is. Here it is. And after phase one, we need to go into the phase two. Where is the phase two means? On the top, we have an IPsec tunnels, right? This is IP gateway phase one. We have configured phase one. Now we are going to the phase two. If you want to configure phase two, here in the same tab, network tab, we have an IPsec tunnels. Click on the IPsec tunnels. You will get this page like this. Click on add and give the name. Okay, I'm going with the TPN IPsec phase two. Okay. And here we are using the tunnel. In the phase one, we are using the interface, and in the phase two, we are using the tunnel interface. Okay. What is the tunnel that we have configured? It is a tunnel one. Okay. And type auto key and address is IP4, and we have to get the phase one. Okay. In this here in the phase one tunnel, we have an option to call the phase one here. We already configured a phase one tunnel here, right? And we are calling this phase one tunnel, and this is a phase two parameters. IPsec crypto profile is an phase two parameters where you have configured in IPsec crypto, and you can call it here. Okay, these are the things that we need to configure here. And proxy IDs, when we are using proxy IDs means, and when we are forming IPsec tunnel between two different vendors, okay, one side Palo Alto, one side if we are using Cisco, and one side is for Palo Alto, and other side is FortiGate, or we are using other Juniper firewall, or if we are using other vendor, okay. So one side is Palo Alto, other side is different vendor. In that case, we need to use an proxy IDs, because why means these Palo Alto firewalls are route-based VPNs. Okay, route-based VPN means it will be working on the routes. The IPsec tunnels are working on the routes, but other firewalls are not the route-based; they are policy-based. Okay, in that case, we need to configure a proxy IDs on the Palo Alto firewall. These proxy IDs will be used in that case. Okay. Understood, right? Why we are using proxy IDs? Why we are using proxy IDs means when you are forming IPsec tunnel between two different vendors. Two different vendors means one is Palo Alto, other is a different vendor. Okay. This is phase two. Tunnel interface is tunnel one, and these are the auto one, auto default, and IQ gateway, the phase one. And the crypto profile, we are serving with the crypto profile, but we are forming IT sectoral on both Palo Alto only, right? So we are not using any proxy IDs here because both will work on the route based only. So this is the tunnel. If you want to show, if you want to monitor the tunnels, see here. This is an IK info, and this is a tunnel info. Once this tunnel is up, you can see the red status as in red here. Go ahead and commit this configuration. The same way you have to configure other side as well. Whatever the thing that you have configured, you have to configure same on this one as well. Okay. Can go ahead and log in this one. Any doubts till now in the configuration wise? It is successful. On the network interfaces, we have Ethernet 10.10.10.100 here. It's fine. This is already configured Ethernet 10.200. This is 10.100. 192.168.10.100. This is 192.10.200. And if we go with the policies, I think on the other side I have already configured. See here, inside to, but here in this case, what I did is in the policies you can state you can configure two policies as well. Okay, if you see here, I have configured two policies. One is an trust to VPN, and the other one is an VPN to trust. If you want to configure only one policy, I think on this cloud lab, this is the one issue that we are facing. We can't log in both firewall circuits, like the GA. In the first firewall, what I did, I created two policies. One is for trust to VPN and VPN to trust. But in this firewall, what I did is I did only one policy and called two zones in the same source zone and destination zone. If you see here, inside VPN zone, in the source zone I have configured inside and VPN. In the destination, I also call inside VPN. So how this role works is whatever the traffic coming from inside to VPN or VPN to inside or inside to inside or VPN to VPN. This rule will work like this. We can call it as an default rule, universal rule. Okay. We have intrazone, interzone, and universal. Universal rule is like this. Okay. We can call the two zones inside VPN and here also VPN inside. Whenever traffic coming from inside to VPN zone or whenever traffic coming from VPN to inside zone and whenever traffic coming from inside zone to inside zone and whenever traffic comes from VPN zone to VPN. This will this rule will work all for all these criteria. Inside to VPN, VPN to inside to inside, VPN to VPN. And I have set the action allow. So this will be helpful instead of configuring two rules, I'm configuring the only one rule. I just configured to show you we can also use the rule like this. Okay. And if we go with then IPsec, IPsec phase one for you see here, I have created IKE crypto. And here I'm using at that time, this side we are using group 20. So I will delete this. I will configure group 20 here as well. And MD5 okay, 256 etc okay. And in the crypto also, I have already created IPsec crypto. This is 256 MD5, and this is also group, not 19. I use in 20 because I have mentioned right, whatever the parameters, Haggle parameters that you are configuring on the other side, the in one side I am configured parameters, right? That should matches the configuration of parameters on the other side as well. That is the why I am changing this. In the IP gateway, peer address, in the IP gateway, I gave one mode, and the interface is Ethernet 1 I need to call this IP address as well, 10.100 and 10.100 pre-shared key. The same pre-shared key you have to configure. That said, what we created the pre-shared key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here also you need to create the same pre-shared key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And in the advanced option, the same thing we have whatever the things that we have we didn't enable anything here because we are using static and there is no NAND device in between our IPsec page. And exchange mode is an auto and IK crypto profile I have called here. Okay. And deadbeat deduction is same 5. Click on OK and go on IPsec tunnels. If you click on IPsec tunnel, you can see I'm using tunnel 2 here, but the tunnel 1 is there. Don't we no need to configure same tunnel number on both sides. If we take tunnel 1 there, tunnel 2 there, that's fine. Okay, no need of configuring same tunnel number on both sides. This is one thing that you need to remember. And this is an IP gateway in IPsec phase 2 parameters. And in the proxy, I haven't configured anything. Click on OK and commit this. In this way, this IPsec configuration is completed on both sides. Let us go on the Windows machines if you are seeing the IP address here. What is IP address configured on Ethernet 1/0? I think 20.20.20.10, I think. Let us check on the any doubts or clarifications on the configuration wise? Okay, okay. Just follow this video how we can configure, and I will also share one document as well, the configuration document. అది కూడా మీరు యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, నెట్వర్క్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ Ethernet. On the 1/1, I have configured 20.10 and I have configured DHCP here because this side I have configured DHCP to get an IP address automatically, and I haven't configured, but we can manually configure here on this PC in the same network. You know, right? How to configure IP address on Windows PC? Here you have an you're seeing this LAN configure LAN connection, right? If you click on that, it will be showing Open Network and Sharing Center, and this is your actual control plane network and sharing center. Change the data settings, and you have three local area connections. The first one is that connected one. Go on the properties, and go on Internet Protocol version 4. Click on that and click on the properties. See here, మనం ఇక్కడ DHCP server configure చేసింటే it will get an IP address automatically, but we don't have an IP address here. This is an APIPA IP address, okay? APIPA address 169.254.61.16 is an APIPA. It is an automatic IP address that we don't have any DHCP server on the firewall, or don't have DHCP server that is of Windows machine is connected. So what we can do is we can configure manually. What we can do is 20.20.20.1, and subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Default gateways. Default gateway. Can you mention what is the default gateway IP address here? What is the default gateway for this Windows? ఉమ్, ఉమ్. మనకి ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఈ విండోస్ మెషిన్ అనేది ఫైర్వాల్ కనెక్ట్ అయింది. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇక్కడ డిఫాల్ట్ గేట్వే ఏమవుతుంది? ఫైర్వాల్ మనకి ఇక్కడ ఏ ఏ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ కనెక్ట్ అయింది విండోస్ మెషిన్? ఈథర్నెట్ 1/1. సో ఈథర్నెట్ 1/1 will be the default gateway. What the IP address configured on Ethernet 1/1 means we have configured 20.20.20.10 is the IP address of the default gateway. Okay. Yeah. అది మన ఇష్టం, మనం ఇవ్వచ్చు ఇవ్వకపోవచ్చు. బట్ అవుతుంది అవుతుంది మనం ఏదైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు. మాన్యువల్ గా మనం ఏదైనా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం. మనం 20.1 డిఫాల్ట్ గేట్వే ఉండాలని లేదు. ఆ, అవును. Yes. అదే అంటున్నా, ఇప్పుడు నీకు డిఫాల్ట్ గేట్వే అంటే 20.1 ఖచ్చితంగా ఇవ్వాలని లేదు, ఎక్కడ రూల్లో ఎక్కడ లేదు. నువ్వు మాన్యువల్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయి, డిఫాల్ట్ గా అంటే ఐ మీన్ డైనమిక్ గా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయి. మనం ఈ ఈథర్నెట్ మీద ఏ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అయితే కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తున్నామో అది డిఫాల్ట్ గేట్వే అంతే. ఇక్కడ 1 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసే 1, 2 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసే 2, 10 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసే 10, 100 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసే 100. వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఐపీ అడ్రస్ దట్ యూ హావ్ కాన్ఫిగర్డ్ ఆన్ దిస్ ఈథర్నెట్ 1/1, that is a default gateway for this Windows machine. So we have to configure the interface IP address, whatever the IP address that we have configured, that is a default gateway here. మనకు ఖచ్చితంగా 20.1 డిఫాల్ట్ గేట్వే అని ఎక్కడ రూల్ లేదు. ఓకే. అండ్ అది అట్లా అది ఓకే, కానీ బట్ నేనేం చేశా అంటే ఇక్కడ 20.10 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసాను ఇక్కడ ఈథర్నెట్ స్లాషెస్. దట్ ఈస్ వై ఐ కాన్ఫిగర్ 20.1 హియర్, అండ్ డిఫాల్ట్ గేట్వే ఇస్ 20.10. ఓకే. And DNS servers, I am going with a global DNS server and alternate 4.4.2.2. This is how you can configure IP address on the Windows machine manually. If it is an automatic, you can just click automatically there if you have DHCP servers in your network. Here we got an IP address. Let us ping your default gateway. We are able to reach the gateway. Okay. So we need to check the IPsec now. go on the network, IPsec tunnels. These IPsec tunnels, then it came up. And one more thing you need to configure is you need to configure an routes as well. Sridhar garu, can you put? No. Yeah, ఇక్కడ మనం ఇంకొక థింగ్ ఏం చేయాలంటే we need to configure and routes. We are not using any dynamic routing protocol here. We are using static route. So what is the route that we need to configure is to allow this network in this network. What you need to do, you need to create a static route on this firewall. So this standard network should allow on this firewall. Okay, this standard network should be configured on this as a static route, and to allow this network in this, you need to configure a static route on this. Okay, so on the firewall one, go ahead on the virtual router, and ఇంకొక థింగ్ ఏం చెప్పాలనుకున్నాడు ఇక్కడ ఈ వర్చువల్ రౌటర్ ఉంది కదా దిస్ వర్చువల్ రౌటర్ విల్ బి యాక్టింగ్ యాజ్ అ router in the firewall. Okay, whenever you are configuring interfaces as L3, all the interfaces will be added in this virtual router. Okay, నేను మనం వర్చువల్ రౌటర్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాలని చెప్పాను కదా సో హియర్ we will be having default virtual router, and I'm using the default one. If you want to create, you can create one more thing also. You can create name here, and whatever the interfaces that you want to add here, you can add. But for now, I'm be going with a default one. So what are the interfaces that you have configured right now? Ethernet 1/1, 1/3, and tunnel one. All these are in the default route, default virtual router. If you want to create a virtual route or static route, so on the static route, you have an option static route, add, and name route to. I'm creating on this, okay, this firewall. This firewall means we need to allow these routes, right? This route is 10.10.10/24, okay? 10.10.10.0/24 network. I have to allow on this firewall so that it will reach this remote site, okay? So what is the route? Route to 10.10.10.0. Name, మన ఇష్టం అండి నేమ్ ఇది నేను ఓకే జస్ట్ ఫర్ ఐడెంటిఫికేషన్ అండ్ creating, okay, and the destination is 10.10.10.0/24 means to reach this network to here I'm creating a static route here to reach. How can we reach this network from your inside, and interface should be all. We want to route this traffic through the tunnel, right? So we have already created a tunnel interface. Select the tunnel interface. If you are selecting a tunnel interface, you can select the next hop as a none. Because if the traffic is going on the tunnel, what is the next hop? Already the tunnel is configured we are configured tunnel on both sides. If you are entering the tunnel here, and it will be living here, right? So we don't need to configure next hop here because the next hop is already directly connected to this tunnel, right? If you are using L3 interfaces like Ethernet 1/1, in that case, we need to mention the next hop. If you are using tunnel interfaces, no need to mention next hop. You should mention none. Okay. This is the static route configuration here. Name, destination, what is interface that traffic has to be route, and next hop. Click on OK. అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ డిస్టెన్స్ మనకి ఇక్కడ బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఇక్కడ 1 కాదు మనకి ఇక్కడ 10 ఉంటుంది ఇక్కడ మెట్రికల్ ఉంది కదా సారీ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ డిస్టెన్స్ డిఫాల్ట్ 1 గానే ఉంటుంది మెట్రిక్ డిఫరెంట్ ఇది అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్ డిఫాల్ట్ ఉంది కాబట్టి మనకి ఇక్కడ స్టాటిక్ ది మనకి అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ డిస్టెన్స్ ఉంది కాబట్టి 1 ఉంటుంది and this is the configuration on the firewall one to reach 10.10 network, and go ahead the configure the route on the second firewall as well. Yeah, the same thing you need to do is go on the network tab, virtual router, click on default, static route. Yeah, I think I have already converted route. Same thing, and route to the 20.20.20.10, and the destination is 20.10/0, and I'm routing this in tunnel 2, and next off is done. Okay, click on OK. Yeah, మనం అంతా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసేసాం. ఓకే, వాట్ ఆర్ ది థింగ్స్ దట్ వీ హ్యావ్ కాన్ఫిగర్డ్? మనం స్క్రాచింగ్ చేసినట్టయితే ఫస్ట్ జోన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవాలా, ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ ఎనేబుల్ చేసుకోవాలా, ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ మీద ఐపీ అడ్రస్. Okay, and after that you need to create a policies to for this IPsec. We have only two policies that are required. Okay, one is test to VPN and VPN to trust to VPN or VPN to trust. And after that, we need to create an phase one parameters, IK, which is called IK crypto, and phase two parameters, which is an IPsec crypto. And after creating an parameters, you need to configure an phase one tunnel, which is an IKE gateway. Okay, the IKE gateway is mainly for the phase one tunnel, and phase two tunnel is for in the same network tab you will have an IPsec tunnel. There you can configure a phase two tunnel. And okay, after creating a IPsec protocols and IPsec tunnels, you need to add a static route to reach the your local site or local network to the remote network on both sides. For this firewall, this is the local, and this is for this firewall, this is local, and this firewall, this is a remote, and for this firewall, this is a remote. టు రీచ్ యువర్ లోకల్ నెట్వర్క్ టు ద రిమోట్ నెట్వర్క్, మనకి అంతే కదా. మనం ఇప్పుడు ఒక చోటు నుంచి ఒక చోటుకి వెళ్ళాలంటే మనకి రౌట్ తెలియాలి. రౌట్ తెలియాలంటే మనం ఫైర్ వాల్లో డిఫైన్ చేయాలన్నమాట. ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు రీచ్ దిస్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు గో వయా దిస్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్. ఓకే, వీ హ్యావ్ ఆల్రెడీ మెన్షన్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇస్ సెట్. వాట్ వీ నీడ్ టు డూ ఇస్ జస్ట్ వన్ థింగ్ యూ నీడ్ టు డూ ఇస్ సీ హియర్ దీస్ టనల్స్ ఇస్ డౌన్. మనకి టనల్స్ అన్ని డౌన్ లో ఉన్నాయి. డౌన్ లో ఉన్నాయంటే ఇక్కడ మనకి ఏం చూపిస్తున్నాయి, ఇక్కడ రెడ్ లో చూపిస్తుంది. మనం అంతా కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసాం, ఇంకా డౌన్ లో ఎందుకు ఉన్నాయని మీకు ఒక డౌట్ రావచ్చు. ఓకే, ఎందుకు అంటే ఇనిషియల్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్, మనం ఫస్ట్ ఇనిషియల్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసినాం కాబట్టి ఇన్ ద ఇనిషియల్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ the tunnels will come up only when there is an traffic flowing through the tunnel. మనకి ఇప్పుడు ట్రాఫిక్ ఏం ఫ్లో అవ్వట్లేదు, సో అందుకే టనల్స్ అప్లో రాలేదు. ట్రాఫిక్ ఫ్లో అవ్వాలి అంటే మనం ఏం చేయాలి? వీ హ్యావ్ టు జనరేట్ ఏ ట్రాఫిక్. నేను ఏం చేస్తా అంటే ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ పీసీ ఐ విల్ పింగ్ దిస్ పీసీ. ఓకే, ఐ థింక్ ఐ విల్ వాంట్ టు నో ద పీసీ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ హియర్. నాకు ఈ పీసీ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ కావాలి. have configured 10.10 or something. మనకి ఎప్పుడైతే టన్నల్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్తుందో ఇనీషియల్ గా అప్పుడే మనకి టన్నల్ అప్ అవుతాయి అనమాట. మనకు సో మనం నేను ఏం చేస్తాను అంటే టు జనరేట్ అండ్ ట్రాఫిక్ ఐ నీడ్ టు పింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ పీసీ టు దిస్ పీసీ. వాట్ ఈస్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్? 10.10.10.1. Okay, and from this pc I will ping 10.10.10.1. IP config, you have 20.20.20.1. I need to ping 10.10.10.1. I'm not able to reach. Yeah, I'm able to reach now. The first packet, that's fine, but I'm able to reach 10.10.10.1 now. So we'll check the IP channels now. See here, the both the tunnels came up, right? It will showing as an green. ఎందుకంటే మనకి ఇనిషియల్ గా దీస్ IPsec tunnels will be down because there is no traffic flowing in the tunnel. Once the traffic is flowing in the tunnel initially, the tunnels will come up. This phase one came up and phase two is also come up. If you want to see the phase one info, click on IP info. It will be getting the roles and the modes. Here, this firewall is acting as a responder. You know why? I'm seeing on this firewall, which is this firewall. This firewall acting as a responder now. Why? What I told you, the responder means the firewall which acts as a responder means the traffic is receiving on that firewall. Receiving means we have initiated the traffic here. So this firewall will be sending the traffic to this firewall. So the initial traffic as generated from this firewall. So this firewall will be acting as a sender. This firewall will be acting as a responder. That's the reason the role is showing as a responder here. This is the name IK gateway and role responder. See here, it is selecting as a main mode, and these are the algorithms that we have created. Okay. PXM is free sharing and DS20, AES, MD5. These are the parameters that we have configured. Okay. And if you see the tunnel info, these are the tunnel information. Okay. IPsec tunnel that we have configured. Local IP is 200 and peer IP is 100. Okay. 10.100. And these are the things that you need to actually, if there are multiple things in this. Okay. I will tell you one common scenario in the real time how the IPsec troubleshooting will be done. మనకి ఒక ఎలా అంటే టనల్స్ అప్లో ఉన్నాయి కానీ ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్ళట్లేదు అంటుంటారు. టనల్స్ అప్లో ఉన్నాయి ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్ళట్లేదు అంటే వీ నీడ్ టు చెక్ వన్ థింగ్. ఓకే, వాట్ యూ నీడ్ టు చెక్ ఇస్ హియర్ దిస్ ప్యాకెట్ ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ అండ్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ అండ్ ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ అండ్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్. ఇఫ్ ద ట్రాఫిక్ ఈస్ ఫ్లోయింగ్ అండ్ ఇఫ్ ద సీ హియర్ మనకి ఇక్కడ ప్యాకెట్ ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ ప్యాకెట్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ ఏమున్నాయి 7 ఉన్నాయి. మనకి ఇప్పుడు రిఫ్రెష్ చేస్తే ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్తుందా అంటే లేదు. రిఫ్రెష్ చేస్తే మనకి పెరగాల అంటే టనల్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్తుందంటే మనకి ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి. కానీ ఇప్పుడు మనం ట్రాఫిక్ ఏం వెళ్ళట్లేదు, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్. వెనెవర్ ట్రాఫిక్ ఈస్ ఫ్లోయింగ్ ఇన్ ద టనల్, then continuous thing పెడతా ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, whenever traffic flowing in the tunnel, this encapsulation and decapsulation bytes will increase. Okay, see here, increase అవుతున్నాయా? ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు టనల్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్తుంది. మనకు ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఏమవుతుందంటే మనకి ఇక్కడ టనల్స్ అప్లో ఉన్నాయి కానీ ట్రాఫిక్ వెళ్ళట్లేదు అంటాం. మనకి ఇక్కడ 2 ఫైర్వాల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఏ ఫైర్వాల్ మనకి ఇష్యూ ఉందో లేదో తెలుసుకోవాలంటే సీ హియర్, మనకి ఎప్పుడైతే ఒక ఫైర్వాల్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్, ఇప్పుడు ఈ ట్రాఫిక్ ఉంది, మనం ఇక్కడ నుంచి సెండ్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఈ ట్రాఫిక్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ అంటే సారీ ఈ ఫైర్వాల్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ బయటికి వెళ్తుంది అంటే వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డూయింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎన్క్రిప్టింగ్ ద ట్రాఫిక్. ఓకే, whenever traffic leaving from this firewall, it is encrypting. So encryption bytes will increase here, and whenever traffic reaches this firewall, it will decrypt. Okay, so here the decryption packets will be increased, and again whenever the reply packet coming from this firewall, it will be encrypting. So here the encryption bytes will increase. Whenever traffic is receiving on this firewall, it will be decrypting. So the traffic is reaching from this firewall. So what I am saying is మనం ఇక్కడ చూసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటి అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఒక ఫైర్వాల్ లో ఇష్యూ ఉందో లేదో తెలుసుకోవాలంటే దిస్ ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ అండ్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఆర్ ద మేజర్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్, ఇఫ్ ద ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ ప్యాకెట్స్ ఆర్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్, ద ఫైర్వాల్ ఈస్ సెండింగ్ ట్రాఫిక్. అంటే ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే అంటే మనం ఎన్క్యాప్సులేట్ చేసి బయటకు పంపిస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతాయి. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఫైర్వాల్ లో ఇష్యూ ఉందో లేదో తెలుసుకోవాలంటే వీ హ్యావ్ టు చెక్ ద ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ అండ్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్. మనం ఫైర్ వాల్ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ బయటికి వెళ్తుంది అంటే ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతాయి. మనకు ఫైర్ వాల్ అక్కడ నుంచి ట్రాఫిక్ రిసీవ్ అవుతుంది అంటే డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతాయి. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతున్నాయి కానీ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వట్లేదు అంటే we are sending the traffic but we are not receiving. So the issue is from the other side, not on this firewall, and we need to check on this firewall as well. Okay, and the same thing we need to check encapsulation and decapsulation. And we are saying the same thing. We are sending in traffic but we are not receiving. It means the encapsulation bytes are increasing but decapsulation bytes are not increasing. In that case మనకి రెండు ఫైర్ వాల్స్ లో ఇష్యూ లేనట్టు, దెర్ మే బి ఎనీ అదర్ డివైస్ దట్ కాజింగ్ అన్ ఇష్యూ. అట్లా మనకి ఐసోలేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అనమాట ట్రబుల్ అంటే ఐ మీన్ ఐపీసెక్ ఇష్యూస్ ఎప్పుడన్నా వచ్చినప్పుడు ట్రబుల్ షూటింగ్ లో మనకి ఇట్లా ఇష్యూస్ ని ఐసోలేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. మనకి మేజర్ థింగ్ ఏం చెక్ చేసుకోవాలంటే ఎన్క్యాప్సులేషన్ అండ్ డీక్యాప్సులేషన్ బైట్స్ చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఓకే, and in the Palo Alto, if you want to check whenever issue comes, if you want to check, the first thing you need to check is an system logs. Okay, in the monitor tab, you will be having the system logs. For every IPsec, for all the IPsec traffic, you need to check a system logs. See here, IPsec tunnel, negotiation succeeded, negotiation succeeded, the phase of negotiation succeeded, and phase of negotiation succeeded, and tunnel is up. Okay, if there is any issues, you will see the system logs for particular time. If you are seeing any issues, you can know the time and filter that time and check what are the things or why the negotiation is not happening. The major thing you need to check is system logs. And apart from system logs, there is an IKEMGR log. Okay, I will show you. See here, we have a command to check the history of logs. We have a command like less mplog ikemgr.log. This is the daemon. ikemgr.log is a daemon where all these IPsec logs will be logged. మనకి ఫైర్ వాల్ లో ఇక్కడ ఒక చోట లాగ్స్ అంటే ఐ మీన్ లాగ్స్ వచ్చినవి మనకి ఫైర్ వాల్ లో లాగ్ చేసుకోవాలి కదా. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద డీమాన్ వేర్ ద ఐపీసెక్ లాగ్స్ ఆర్ స్టోర్డ్. ikemgr.log is the daemon where the IPsec logs are stored. If you click, if this is a command to check the history of logs, less mplog ikemgr.log. I will use the command also here. Okay, less mplog ikemgr.log. This is for to check the history of logs. History means we will be having all the previous logs as well. To check history of logs. This is the command. Here, if you click OK, if you click enter, it will show the all the logs. మనకి ఇక్కడ ఎప్పటి నుంచి ఉన్నాయి 18/1/2025. మనకి ఈరోజు డేట్ ఎంత 24. సో మనకి ఫైర్ వాల్ ఎప్పటి నుంచి అప్ అయిందో అప్పటి నుంచి లాగ్స్ ఉంటాయి అనమాట. ఇఫ్ యూ కాన్ఫిగర్ ఐపీసెక్, మనకి ఐపీసెక్ ఎప్పుడైతే కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ అప్పటి నుంచి మనకి లాగ్స్ అన్ని వస్తాయి అనమాట, హిస్టారికల్ లాగ్స్. వీ వాంట్ టు చెక్ బేస్డ్ అపాన్ ద టైమింగ్. ఓకే, మనం ఈరోజు కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం కాబట్టి ఇది 24. వీ హ్యావ్ టు గో టు ద 24. ఇఫ్ యూ క్లిక్ ఎంటర్ ఆర్ స్పేస్ బార్, it will show the all the information. This is an 23/1 is the firewall timing. Okay, based upon the firewall timing, it will show But for us it is 24. But firewall time is 23/1/2025. It is 1959. Phase one negotiation started as responder, main mode, receive DPD, receive and define is the new negotiation phase one negotiation. See here, మనం ఇక్కడ చూసుకున్నట్టయితే ఇది ఉంది కదా, ఇక్కడ మనకి phase one started as responder. Responder means it is not generating the traffic, it is receiving the traffic. And if you see here, phase one negotiation succeeded as responder means the parameters are matched and phase one succeeded, phase one tunnel came up. And again, after phase one tunnel, it is going with an phase two. Phase two negotiation started, and it will be showing this peer IP, local IP and the peer IP. And after that negotiation, phase two negotiation succeeded as responder. After phase two is phase one is succeeded, phase two negotiation start, and phase two is also succeeded. And after the phase two, our actual traffic will be flown. Okay. These are the messages that you need to see. Check if you want to troubleshoot one thing, you need to know the exact time. Okay. మనకి టైం తెలియలేదు కనుక మనం ట్రబుల్ షూటింగ్ చేయలేమంట. ఏ ట్రబుల్ షూటింగ్ చేసినా కూడా ఫస్ట్ యూ నీడ్ టు నో ద ఎగ్జాక్ట్ టైం when the issue happened. At that time, you need to come here and enter the command less mplog ikmgr.log, and based upon the time you can check at what time at that time what are the things that happened here. See here, at this 23/1/2025 1959, negotiation started, negotiation succeeded, phase two negotiation started, phase two negotiation succeeded. Okay, that is the history of logs. To come out of this, to come out of the history logs, you can just click on Q. Okay, it will be come out. And if the issue is happening on the live, issue live lo unnanuko, there is other command, tail follow s mplog ikemgr.log. This is the live logs. మనకి live logs వస్తాయి అన్నమాట. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఇక్కడ మనకి phase one negotiation started, phase one negotiation succeeded. These are the live logs. Okay, to check the live logs, tail follow s mplog ikemgr.log. Okay, this is to check the live log. If the issue is on live, whenever you are going on troubleshooting and issue is on the live, you can enter this command tail follow s mplog ikmgr.log to check the live logs. For historical logs, this is a less mplog ikmgr.log. Okay, మనకి ఇట్లా కాదు, మనం ఇక్కడ చూడలేమంటే యూ కెన్ డైరెక్ట్లీ గో ఆన్ ద సిస్టమ్ లాగ్స్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ చెక్ హియర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద మెసేజెస్ దట్ యు ఆర్ సీయింగ్ ఆన్ దిస్, it will be also showing same on the here as well. Here, IK phase two negotiation is succeeded as responder, quick mode, established SA message, negotiation started as responder. మనకి ఇక్కడ ఏ మెసేజ్ అయితే ఉంటుందో ఈడ కూడా అదే ఉంటుంది. But if you want to know the what exact happening on this reason, this is the best way. Go on the historical logs. Okay. And this is how you can troubleshoot. Okay. మనకి యాక్చువల్గా ట్రబుల్ షూటింగ్ ఇట్లా IPsec లో మనకి ఏమంటే phase one is not coming up and phase one is up but phase two is not up, and both the phases, phase one is up, phase two is up, but traffic is not flowing. Phase one, phase two is up, traffic is not flowing is you need to check this one. As I told you, you need to check the encapsulation pcapsulation patch. Okay, and in the GA you can show it. If you want the CLI, there is one command which is an show VPN flow name. What is IPsec name? We have IPsec tunnel. Okay, if you click OK, it will be show here. The same thing it will be show here. If you on the bottom, you have decapsulation packets encapsulation packets, encapsulation bytes, decapsulation bytes. You have to check these things, okay? The same thing, whatever the things that you are seeing here, the same thing you can also see here, okay? This is in the GUI. If you don't want to see in the GUI, if you want to check on this, you can check. I will also give that command as well. Please make a note of this. Okay? Show VPN flow name and what is the name that we are giving? IPsec tunnel name. Okay, IPsec tunnel name. This is the thing that you can check if the firewall, if both the tunnels are up and the traffic is not flowing. This is the command that you need to check. Okay, and just make a note of this. This is a daemon ikemgo.log. What is the daemon that we are using for IPsec means in the Palo Alto? ikemgo.log is a daemon that will be used. All the logs of this IPsec is recorded in this daemon. What is this daemon? ikemgo.log. And also the if you want to troubleshoot, you can check the system logs first. And if nothing has found, come on the ikemgo.log historical logs and check on the based on the time zone. Check at what time. At the time, what is happening. If both the tunnels are up, if the traffic is not flowing, use this command show VPN flow name and IPsec tunnel name so that you can check encapsulation and decapsulation bytes. If encapsulation bytes are increasing and decapsulation bytes are not increasing, that is not the our firewall traffic. It is issue from the other side, maybe the firewall or maybe any of the intermediate device. Go check on the other side firewall, same thing. Check the show VPN flow and check if the encapsulation bytes or decapsulation bytes are not increasing. Based upon the encapsulation and decapsulation bytes, we can know in which side the issue is happening. Okay. This is all about the IPsec lab and troubleshooting stuff. Okay. We have in our website, I have also added a NAT, IPsec NAT traversal. Okay, I have added a IPsec NAT traversal. You can go ahead and grab that one as well. See here, after the IPsec, I have added the IPsec NAT traversal. In that, you will have the troubleshooting steps as well. Okay, I have already added that, and you have an NAT transversal topic as well. Okay, this NAT transversal when we are using NAT transversal, how we can use, and also in that same one, I have added the troubleshooting things. On the last three slides, I have added the troubleshooting. If phase one is down, what needs to be checked? Okay, and if phase two is down, what needs to be checked? And both phase is on phase two is up, but traffic is not flowing. What needs to be checked? Okay. You can download this PPT and you can see, you can know about the NAT transversal as well. Yeah, we have completed our session as well. Thanks for joining. If you have any doubts, you can watch this video or you can let me know once you are continuing. Okay. Yeah. Thanks guys. Thanks for joining.